We're going to be experiencing something really interesting this week. So, to sort of put it all into context, we're in a number one numerology year, which is all about initiation. Then, on top of that, it is a fire horse year, which is all about action. And now, this week, there are going to be seven, you heard that right, seven planets. Well, six planets and an asteroid in the sign of Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, the initiator, the firecracker, the warrior. This is one of those weeks that is jam packed with motivational energy. Okay. But there is a somewhat large caveat to all of this energy. It's not only gonna be hella uncomfortable, but it's going to require you to confront some things you probably would rather not. So, if you want to know more about the energy of the moment and more importantly, how to use it this week, stick around. You definitely don't want to miss this. Hello, my loves. As always, I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. If you're new around here, hi, hello, and welcome. My name is Mel. I'm a professional astrologer, and I'm the founder of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. So, if you're new, welcome. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. So, like I said in the intro, this is a pretty dynamic week. It's so interesting because all over the internet, so many astrologers are not only talking about the energy of this week, but they're really interested to see how many people are going to be giving birth this week. Natal charts are like snowflakes, right? Everyone has a different one. But being born this week with seven planets in Aries, you could only imagine the type of individual that that person will grow up to be. They could either be really enterprising or they could be a complete nut job, right? It's amazing the way astrology works and perhaps how this energy is going to play out. But apart from just this planetary pileup in Aries, we actually have a new moon in Aries. That's part of this planetary pileup this week. So everything about right now is about beginnings. It's about initiation. Now, if you've been watching my videos over the last couple of weeks, I've been talking about how with this being a fire horse year and it's a year of, movement. It's not about reckless movement. And this week very much sort of fits into that narrative because this new moon in Aries is going to be conjunct Chiron. Now, I said earlier that we've got seven planets, but it's actually six planets and an asteroid. That asteroid is Chiron. Now, I've actually done a complete video on Chiron, so I'll link that in the description box below if you want to check that out to sort of get up to speed on the energy of what Chiron is and specifically what it means for you in your chart. Chiron is known as the wounded healer. Okay. Now, when you mix the wounded healer with the warrior, which is Aries, you get a really interesting mix of energy. This Chiron energy is arguably it's very self-aware. It understands where its insecurities and its shortcomings are, but oftentimes it can be really difficult to overcome them, right? And in a sign like Aries, Chiron really speaks to our fears or our insecurities about standing out, being ourselves, taking charge, being independent, right? So for many of us, this new moon, which of course you know is about setting new intentions and planting new seeds, it may really be something that we desire, that we really want to take charge of, that we want to experience in our lives at this time. But with Chiron there, you may be reminded of the fact that when you were in fifth grade and you were starring in the play, someone laughed at you while you were acting, or you have codependency issues that really prevent you from being great, right? Those kind of insecurities can rear their head at this new moon, and especially this week. Which could be a little bit of a Debbie Downer because with all of this Aries energy, you just want to go, you just want to move, you just want to make changes, but then it's like that voice in your head is like, "But are you sure? You tried this last time and it didn't work." Or stop trying to stand out so much. Just try to fit in with everybody. Like, what are you doing? You're doing the most. You keep, defending this thing that's not worth it. Like, that kind of voice can definitely get really loud around this time. And the best thing to do when it does get loud, address it. I love this because with all of this go-go energy, it's like Chiron isn't coming into the picture to trip you up. It may feel that way, but really Chiron is like, listen, this is the last bit of thing you need to sort of work on before you can be, hitting the ground running, right? It's about really addressing the obstacles that can prevent you from moving forward. And with everyone trying to move forward, with everything moving so quickly right now, you really don't want to get bogged down or left behind by things that you need to address and perhaps that you haven't addressed in the past. So it can be a really good week in terms of personal development and overcoming obstacles, particularly, like I said before, obstacles that have prevented you from being seen, being a leader, taking charge of your life, starting new things, right? This can be really exciting energy. And it's really important that you look at it as such. And I say it that way because clearly it feels like the world is on fire right now. With all of this fire energy, the world it's hot out here. It's kind of crazy. And the one thing that Aries definitely loves to remind us is that we have to address ourselves first. It can be very easy, and this is just me getting on my soapbox for a second, so indulge me if you will. It can be really easy to really tap into the collective energy and be putting your focus into all of that. As a matter of fact, it's almost hard not to, right? There's a war going on, gas prices, food prices, job shortages, there's a lot. And Aries is like, listen, I need you to fill your own tank, literally and figuratively, especially with these gas prices. Literally and figuratively, I need you to fill your own tank first. And as much as everything around you could be garnering for your attention or seems really important, you are really important as well. What you need, what you desire, and where you're going are really important. So think about that as the energy sort of takes shape this week. And as things start moving and things start ramping up, and we have the opportunity to plant new seeds with that new moon in Aries, which is going to be super important, super potent. This is the beginning of the beginning of the beginning. It's a one numerological year, like I said before. It's Aries, all of this jam packed Aries energy, and it's a new moon. Beginnings, 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 beginnings. And the last thing that you want to do in this time of beginnings is repeat a same old dusty and crusty pattern that's not doing anything for you. We've got a fresh, clean slate, a a gas full of tank, a tank full of gas, which is at a premium right now. Can't stress that enough. And we're going places. We've got goals. We've got motivation. We've got places we want to go, people that we want to be. And this is the week that we take action toward that.
Hey, friend. So, real quick, there's one planet in your natal chart that is driving the whole ship of your life. And when you know where it is, its condition, and more importantly, how to use it, it makes life finally make sense. So on April 23rd, I am hosting a live workshop called The Most Important Planet in Your Natal Chart, or in your chart for short. This is going to teach you exactly how to find it and more importantly, what to do with it. It's $17. It's live on April 23rd at 7 p.m. Eastern. And don't worry if you can't make it. As long as you sign up, you will get the replay. You definitely don't want to miss this. It's short, sweet, to the point, and gives you that little zing of information that literally makes life make sense. Link is in the description box below. Tap in.
Now, to add to all of this is also a very transformative week because Pluto is playing a very major part in the astrology of the moment. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Pluto, let me bring you up to speed. Pluto is the planet of transformation. I'm not talking about, oh, this would be nice to have, or maybe I should do this. Pluto is like, I'm going to decimate this, so you have to start over, so you have to start anew. Or I am giving you this rebirth moment that is 10 times more glorious than any glow up you could ever imagine. Like Pluto is that intense. And with this planetary pileup in Aries, and Pluto being in Aquarius, there is going to be a sextile between Pluto and Mercury, Neptune, Mars, and Saturn. So, what does that mean in astrology jargon? So, in astrology jargon, Sextiles are when planets make a 60, they have 60 degrees between them. And sextiles denote positive opportunities. So if we're talking about this planetary pileup, and we're talking about Pluto, essentially what this means is that when it comes to starting new things, aka Mars, communication and ideas, aka Mercury, dreams, fantasies, illusions, aka Neptune, and new structures, systems, and material things. When we talk about Saturn, you perhaps will experience positive opportunities in these areas or concerning these topics that could experience a transformation at this time. So let's say that you have wanted to be an entrepreneur. And by the way, Aries, Mars, that energy is great for entrepreneurship. So, especially if you have Mars or Mercury in the 10th, not Mercury, if you've got Mars in the 10th house or in the 6th house, if your 10th house or the 6th house is Aries, for instance, entrepreneurship will likely be in the cards for you. So, this may be a great time to really get the wheels turning in that regard. All right. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about and you're like, do I have Mars in the 10th house? What's the 10th house? Aries. And if you're confused, baby, you know I've got you covered. So if you want to know about your natal chart inside and out, then you will definitely want to sign up for my premium natal chart experience, which is called the Blueprint. This is not your regular, degular natal chart reading. This is my own specific and unique framework that's really like three readings in one. So it tells you not only your natal chart, but what chapter you are in your life and what's going on right now. So you understand how you're designed and how that design is playing out in real time right now. It's a whole vibe, it's a whole thing, and people really, really love it. So if you're interested, the first step would be to book a 15-minute free clarity call so we can discuss the service further and whether it's the right fit for you. And the link to that clarity call is in the description box below, so check that out. But if with all of this action packed energy this week, you are like, girl, I need this in my life right now, then I've got the link for the blueprint so you could book it straight away. And that's also in the description box below. So tap into that if you want to really get to know yourself and if you really want the 411 on exactly who you are. I know I just dated myself with that, but if you know, you know. Anyway, back to the energy of the moment. So, Pluto sextile all these planets means that you can make a serious change. Oh, so here is where I was going before. Let's say entrepreneurship is something that you're really interested in, and you tried it before in the past, but hasn't really worked out, right? With Pluto sextile Mars, this could be the opportunity that really changes that for you. Now, the way that Pluto works is intense. Pluto often takes away before it gives. So it's like you're going to have to accept some kind of ending before you can accept a rebirth and a beginning. For instance, to go along, to keep this analogy going, you lose your job. You're like, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I don't know. And you've been hemming and hawing for a while. This new moon in Aries might be like, oh, pink slip, oh, you're laid off, or we've reduced your hours so you're basically non-functional and you're definitely making a lot less money. That Aries new moon is gonna be looking at you like, girl, so what are we gonna do? That whole entrepreneurship dream that we had, yeah, it's time to put the pedal to the metal and make that a thing. So that's kind of how Pluto can work with this. It can be really intense. Again, it may really require you to embrace an ending before the beginning, right? Now, Neptune in Aries is also having you very motivated when it comes to new dreams, when it comes to new goals, different things. So that's sort of running in the background. Saturn is keeping you grounded by keeping you realistic and kind of letting you know what's really good so you don't get too far into Delulu land. And then Mars is adding literal fuel to the fire here. And then Mercury's got your mind firing on all cylinders. So if you've got not if you've got, if you feel like you've got ants in your pants this week, or if you feel super motivated, or if you feel like jittery, jumpy, you want to do all the things, cool. However, I will caution you to not move recklessly. Saturn and Mercury here in Aries, they really want you to look before you leap and have some kind of plan. You don't need to have the whole entire blueprint, but you need to know where you're going and have a rough idea of how to get there. The universe will fill in the rest. However, remember, this is like the week where you've got a full tank of gas and you are ready to go. Okay. Now, back to Chiron and how it can kind of slow things down. So Chiron is going to have you addressing those insecurities, right? And I just said before that Saturn and Mercury really want you to look before you leap. And Chiron is going to help in that whole narrative, sort of help you understand what is sort of holding you back a little bit, and perhaps what insecurities or hangups or fears even are preventing you from moving full steam ahead. All right. So keep that in mind. If you have this sort of really hot and cold energy, or you feel like, I want to do this thing, but then you get scared or you're feeling insecure, that's Chiron at work. And you should definitely lean into that. Don't ignore that, or don't use it as an excuse to not take any movement. Again, this is the week, this is the month, this is the year of movement. Okay. Now we're moving smart, we're moving calculated, but we're still moving nonetheless. So don't allow it to be your excuse to stay put or to stay stagnant, but also take heed to what Chiron is trying to show you. Perhaps you want to use my analogy before, you want to be that entrepreneur. You want to express yourself creatively and make money for it and be your own boss, right? Although entrepreneurship is so much more than that, but that's another story for another day. But maybe you have a fear of being seen, right? Maybe standing out on your own, hanging out your own shingle scares the fuck out of you. And that's valid. Trust, as an entrepreneur, you kind of go through those motions every now and then. But that's like Chiron is saying, look, I want you to look at this and examine that. Like, where did that come from? Why do you feel like you want to hide? You don't want to be seen. You don't want to stand in your own name and do what it is that you do. Let's talk about that. Let's unpack that. Figure that out. Maybe that's by yourself. Maybe that's with someone you trust. Maybe it's with a professional like a therapist, so that you can get moving and you can start working and taking steps toward those desires, those goals, and those motivations that you have right now. So, in closing, I have some practical steps and some things that you should consider going into this week and taking advantage of this week's energy. So, first, catch the moment you stop yourself. This kind of speaks to what I was just talking about, right? You're amped, you're ready to go, but then you're like, "Ugh, but I don't know. Do I really want to be seen by myself?" Or perhaps you've always been partnered, right? And you've relied on your partner for money, or you've relied on your partner for a lot of things. And the stirrings within you at this new moon are like, it's time to stand on my own. I'm not talking about necessarily separating from your partner or divorce or anything like that, but maybe it's like you want to stake your own claim in something, right? You want to stand out as an individual, but you stop yourself because you're like, well, what about my partner? What about our relationship, right? Catch where you stop yourself. That's going to give you ample information on perhaps what Chiron is trying to show you at this time. Next, change the internal dialogue. So this speaks directly to Mercury in Aries, which is going to be sextile to Pluto in Aquarius. Okay. How you speak about yourself, how you speak about the things that you want, your inner narrative, your inner dialogue, this is an amazing time to change it. And you kind of got to be a little forceful with it because Mercury's in Aries. So this isn't about, oh, nice scripting and little pretty things. That would be like Mercury in Pisces. Mercury in Aries is like, girl, get up and do this. You got this. You are excellent. You are the best entrepreneur this side of the Mississippi, right? Like you need to be a little forceful with it. So, um, you're going to want to perhaps exercise some of that. One of the best things that I love to do and that has helped me a lot is saying my affirmations in the mirror. Now, it works really well when you're looking good. But when you wake up in the morning, first thing, and you go in the bathroom, I still like to do my affirmations there because I'm literally looking at myself and I'm hyping myself up. That's a great way to change your inner dialogue and work with the energy of the week. But if you have a different way, maybe you like to scream into the void, maybe you like to be, listening to a recording of yourself, saying your affirmations while you take a walk outside. All of those work at the moment. So definitely tap into at least one of them. Next. Commit to one small action. Now, this speaks to Saturn and Mars in Aries. Saturn is like, with all this planetary pileup, you probably want to do either the most or you have a really big goal that you want to work toward, right? And you're like, I want to do this, that, and the third. Maybe your plan has like 6 different sections and 12 different subsections. And Saturn is like, whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down, one small step at a time. Because here's the thing, Saturn in Aries is actually chef's kiss. You know why? Because Aries is great for of the moment, that firecracker energy, but Saturn gives it staying power. Meaning you could be amped today about entrepreneurship, for example, but it's like you're amped today and bored tomorrow. Saturn is like, oh no, girl, we are riding this till the wheels fall off. So at this time, just take one small step. It doesn't have to be the biggest thing. The most important thing is that you should take a step that you're willing to commit to, one that you can be consistent with. And in doing so, that is how you're going to not only set the wheels in motion, but keep them in motion over the long run, which is super important. All right. And then finally, see yourself already doing it. And this is courtesy of Neptune in Aries. Neptune is giving us a visualization, but this is like visualization on steroids. You need to see and feel yourself as already that thing. Now, that's like the basics when it comes to manifestation. However, it's like juiced up right now because of Neptune and Aries. So spend some time intentionally visualizing you as that entrepreneur, that successful entrepreneur. You as that actor, that actress, you as that world-renowned chef, whatever it is, you have to take the time to literally visualize it. Again, this is visualization on steroids. So use it as such. All right. So that's the energy of the moment. And as you can see, I'm even kind of hyped right now because I'm already kind of tapped into that energy and doing a million and one things. So it's Saturn kind of chastising me at the same time, but this is a week of action. However, don't allow Chiron to sideline you. If there are insecurities, if there are hangups that come up, deal with them. You'll be like 10 times more wiser because of it, and it'll give you less weight to carry as you are going forward at full speed ahead. Remember, you got to travel light right now. Aries wants to move at the speed of light. And with this planetary pileup, you're going to want to move at the speed of light. Chiron is showing you what baggage you need to divest yourself of so that you can go forward successfully. All right, my loves. So now tell me in the comments, where is Aries in your natal chart? I want to know because this is where all of the energy is going to be concentrated this week. And it's going to be the area of life that you are going to experience some intensity, perhaps some movement, some excitement, and the opportunity to plant new seeds. So let me know in the comments below, where is Aries in your natal chart? All right, my loves, that's all I got for you for this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this content, if you find it valuable, if you think that there's someone in your life, someone you know, a group of friends even that need to know about this energy and about astrology in general, share it with them. This information is it's what we all need to know at the moment. All right. So like, comment, share, subscribe, all the good things. And if you really value me as an astrologer and this content that I bring to you, support the channel by becoming a member. You get early access to videos plus member only videos and a few other surprises here and there. It's $2.99 a month and it really helps me and the channel out. And I sincerely appreciate it. All right, my loves. Thank you so much for tuning in and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.